Right now, somewhere in a high-tech facility in China, a 3D bioprinter is extruding microscopic layers of real muscle tissue and fat cells into a perfectly marbled ribeye steak without a single farm, pasture, or slaughtered animal. The traditional meat industry is a massive $3 trillion global behemoth that has barely changed since the dawn of human civilization, relying on raising livestock, consuming billions of gallons of water, and occupying nearly 40% of all habitable land on Earth. But that ancient model is rapidly approaching its breaking point. Driven by an urgent need to feed over 1.4 billion people without crashing global ecosystems, Chinese scientists and biotech startups have officially integrated cultured, lab-grown meat and cell-based proteins into the country's national 5-year agricultural plan, pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into massive bioreactor scaling. This isn't a rubbery plant-based soy patty meant to mimic a burger. It is biologically identical animal flesh cultivated inside giant sterile bioreactors from a single microscopic cellular extraction. By utilizing advanced hydrogel scaffolding and automated cellular proliferation, research teams at top institutions like Tsinghua University are now growing real pork, beef, and seafood at speeds 20 times faster than natural animal growth. If scaled to industrial mass production, China's cellular agriculture revolution will render traditional cattle farming obsolete, transforming how humanity produces protein forever. From eliminating slaughterhouses and animal antibiotics to drastically cutting global greenhouse gas emissions, this single biotechnological breakthrough is set to completely disrupt the food on your plate and reshape the global economy from the ground up. If you're fascinated by the science behind world-changing innovations, hit that like button and subscribe to Exoplanet X so you never miss our deep dives into the future of tech. Now, let's look at how this process actually works. What makes this technological shift so terrifyingly efficient is the sheer speed and precision of cellular biofabrication. In traditional farming, raising a single steer takes up to 2 years, thousands of gallons of water, and vast swaths of land just to yield a fraction of usable meat. Inside China's new state-backed automated facilities, bioengineers extract a harmless microscopic tissue sample from a living animal and place those cells inside a high-capacity bioreactor filled with an oxygenated, nutrient-dense broth. Supported by edible 3D scaffolding developed by leading research institutes like Tsinghua University, these cells multiply exponentially, doubling in volume every few hours. Within just a few weeks, automated 3D printers lay down exact layers of cultured muscle and fat, creating a real piece of meat with the exact same nutritional profile and texture as conventional pork or beef. The economic and geopolitical consequences of this transition will completely rewrite the rules of global trade. China currently consumes nearly 30% of the world's meat supply, relying heavily on foreign imports of livestock, feed grains, and soy to sustain its population. By shifting protein production from open fields into urban factory bioreactors, China is systematically eliminating its vulnerability to foreign supply chain disruptions and climate-driven droughts. This synthetic biology revolution won't just replace local butcher shops, it threatens to collapse the multi-billion-dollar global cattle export markets across North and South America. As these biofactories reach industrial scale, the era of traditional animal slaughter will yield to an unstoppable wave of engineered food, permanently changing what ends up on dinner plates around the world. Beyond the economic disruption, the true turning point lies in environmental survival and human health. Conventional livestock farming accounts for nearly 15% of all global greenhouse gas emissions, depletes fresh water supplies, and relies heavily on preventive antibiotics that accelerate dangerous bacterial resistance. By shifting protein synthesis into closed-loop bioreactors, China's cellular agriculture consumes up to 90% less land and water, generating virtually zero methane emissions. Moreover, because these muscle tissues grow inside sterile medical-grade environments, the resulting meat is entirely free from pathogens, microplastics, growth hormones, and parasitic contamination, offering a level of food safety that traditional slaughterhouses could never match. Yet this biotechnological leap raises profound philosophical questions about the future of what we consume. As Chinese megacities begin integrating industrial protein biofactories directly into urban centers, we are witnessing the complete detachment of food production from nature itself. Traditional butchery, pastoral agriculture, and centuries-old culinary heritage are being traded for bioink cartridges, automated growth algorithms, and mass-produced cellular steaks. Whether humanity welcomes this shift with open arms or deep skepticism, one fact is undeniable. China is aggressively building a future where the meat on your plate will no longer come from a farm, but from a machine. Despite its staggering scientific promises, scaling cellular meat from specialized laboratories to everyday supermarket shelves faces enormous financial and technical roadblocks. The most critical bottleneck is the astronomical cost of cellular growth media, the biochemical nutrient soup packed with growth factors that feeds multiplying cells. Historically costing thousands of dollars per liter, this liquid media makes cultured pork and beef far too expensive for mass-market consumers compared to heavily subsidized traditional farming. Additionally, constructing industrial-scale bioreactors capable of maintaining sterile conditions while producing millions of tons of structured meat annually requires billions of dollars in infrastructure investment. Until Chinese bioengineers fully synthesize cheap plant-based growth media and scale continuous biomanufacturing, lab-grown steaks will remain a luxury item reserved for high-end tasting menus. Yet, as state-backed funding accelerates and cost reduction technologies advance, China's push into cellular agriculture marks a point of no return for global food systems. The research teams driving this movement have proven that real animal meat can be grown rapidly, cleanly, and without a single slaughterhouse. As climate pressures mount, farmland shrinks, and global populations expand, machine-cultivated protein is rapidly evolving from a radical scientific experiment into a strategic national priority. The traditional steak on your dinner plate may still come from a farm for a few more years, but its days as the undisputed standard are officially numbered. If you want to stay ahead of the game on the scientific breakthroughs and technological leaps reshaping our world, hit that like button, subscribe to Exoplanet X, and drop a comment below. Would you eat 3D bioprinted meat?